We're back in Fayetteville. Dwight Stones along with Larry Rawson and Lewis Johnson. The Adidas men's 3,000 meters, a little more than 6.5 laps remaining. Alistair Craig is now in front because Joseph Boyd, the rabbit, has dropped out, and Craig trying to forge a little bit of a gap there on Chris Lukasik, Kevin Sullivan, and Matt Tegenkamp.
The first mile covered in 4 minutes 9.5 seconds for Craig, and Kevin Sullivan still stalking him. Interesting the way Sullivan's running. Tegenkamp hanging in there. Lukasik back in third place. Tegenkamp fourth. Tegenkamp I spoke to, and he said, I've been on a track 8 times since the 1st of October. He said, I am not speed sharp at all, but he's running very well for a guy who's been doing just base building work for the outdoor season.
Craig doing what he's used to doing on this track, leading and continuing to push the pace. You see Coach John McDonald, the legendary coach of this University of Arkansas team, winner of 42 national NCAA titles, and he's keeping a very close eye on what's going on and ready to shout out some instructions.
Those titles have come since 1982 in cross-country, indoor, and outdoor, unparalleled. I mean, the great John Wooden didn't have as many titles in such a short period of time, even on a ratio basis, as that man has achieved. A 60-second 400 meters was thrown into the mix right here by Craig. And look at Tegenkamp just come up with really no speed training at all. Kevin Sullivan running a terrific race. Lukasik fading here.
Less than 800 meters to go, less than 4 laps, and Craig has drawn Tegenkamp into the fray. Kevin Sullivan trying to hang on. They have absolutely dropped Chris Lukasik.
I would imagine Craig can't keep up that 60-second pace, and the other guys have held on closely here. If he slows down a bit, they're going to coalesce right behind him. We've got something like 3 laps to go as they come up. A little over 600 meters. 6:09 is that split with 3 laps to go, and Tegenkamp has pulled up in the shoulder of Craig.
So Alistair Craig now has his hands full. He is the hunted with Matt Tegenkamp right on his shoulder, and Kevin Sullivan really struggling to try and stay in this race.
I don't know whether Tegenkamp will win with his lack of speed training, but this is where you want to be, is on somebody's shoulder here. Look at him make the move now. Look at this.
2 laps to go. Tegenkamp, knowing he is not sprint sharp, has to go through and try to drag anything that Alistair Craig has left out of him. Craig has certainly left more than enough, considering the pace they were going to go out in and the pace that actually did develop.
Kevin Sullivan trying to move up and make up ground. He is right now in third place on Craig. Tegenkamp, as you said, I think very correctly, Dwight trying to put some distance between other guys who have more speed than he has. Kevin Sullivan closing in. 1 lap to go. He ran a 30-second 200 meters on that 200 with 1 to go. He might finish with a 60-second last quarter mile. Here comes Sullivan with his great speed, and Tegenkamp is in trouble.
Well, Craig is completely dropped. Tegenkamp is starting to run out of gas, and here comes the miler, the strong miler in Kevin Sullivan of Canada, the Olympic finalist. He's trying to beat Tegenkamp down the finishing straight. He is going to do so, and Tegenkamp is just going to miss the American record for the 3,000 meters. Just missing by a little more than a second, but Kevin Sullivan really did measure the distance well. Alistair Craig, I was surprised to see him get dropped like that, because they did not go out as quickly as they had said they might. 4:05, 4:06, he went out in 4:09, and really with 2 laps to go just had nothing left.
You know, the 3 ran superb times. Let's start right there. 7:40 for 3,000 meters is terrific time. It's like averaging a 4:10 mile and running another mile indoors in almost 4:10. This event is really 200 meters shy of a full 2 miles. But, you know, I kept mentioning Sullivan's name because I know of his speed, and he was never out of contention or contact, even when he was 25 meters back. And look at him. He just turned in a great, great performance. Did all 3 of these men, really, led by Kevin Sullivan from Canada, whose wife, Karen, is a coach at the University of Illinois, and he is coached by Julie Henner, George Mason's middle distance coach. And he spends some time down there and sometimes back in Illinois with his wife.
Well, that is a Canadian record for Kevin Sullivan, breaking his own Canadian record, and Matt Tegenkamp in second, just missing the American record, and that with not much speed yet. Let's go over to the women's pole vault, still early on.